be like, damn, slow down. I know you see a queen adjusting her crown. She been knocked down, but she never stayed down. She been living life like it's her playground. And they be like, damn, slow down. They can catch us, she be moving too fast.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me just make sure. Let me make sure that my sound is on. Trying not to have a long intro, y'all. Trying not to have a long intro. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. Hold on. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Let me know. Hey, Miss Rye. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, how are you guys doing today? It is Tuesday. From the looks of it, y'all, April is playing no games. Time is flying. Time is really, really flying. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe that it's April 5th already. Hopefully, y'all paid y'all rent. Hopefully, y'all paid your bills, whatever is due on the 1st. But time is waiting for no one. Thank you guys for joining me in today's live. Today's live is going to be about Zion Foster, you guys. She was a 17-year-old Michigan high school student who went missing back in January. Now, this case, initially, when I first saw it, there was a lot of holes in it, just because the story did not make sense. And then it kind of like no information was released after a certain point. So I'm going to break it all down for you guys. And then we're going to talk about the heartbreaking information that we found out on March the 30th regarding Zion Foster. So, as I told you guys, Zion Foster was a 17-year-old oldest child of six kids. Her mom is a single mother and they live in Michigan. She was a high school student. On January 4th, she asked her mom if she can go hang out with her cousin that she referred to as like her favorite cousin, Favo. That was who she asked to hang out with. Her mom, his real name is Jalen, and her mom was like, sure, it's not from her mom's side, it's basically from the dad's side. And she was like, yeah, she knew that they were close, did not think nothing of it. So, mind you, January 4th being a school night, Zion went over there after she got off work. Her mom was expecting her home. Her mom was looking for her and could not get a hold of her after Zion said that she was on her way. Zion also had on Find My iPhone so her mom could track her, and that went blank. So she's like, what is going on? Because it's Friday night. She's trying to figure out where she is, but it just goes blank. From then, things got weird. Her mother knew that she was last with Jalen, but Jalen was making it seem as if he never saw Zion, like he was never with her that night. So initially, back when this case first was announced and people was trying to get the information, a lot of people feared that Zion was taken for, sex trafficking. You guys know that that is a very real, serious issue that is going on. And a lot of people was like, okay, if she was never with Jalen, who was she with? Why would he lie? Why? Like it made no sense. So people started to dig deeper to see if maybe she was abducted by anyone, if she was sex trafficked, if she was just taken because Zion, being 17, wouldn't have ran away from home. Jalen wouldn't lie, we would think. So they really were just confused and just really fighting for Zion's safe return home. Now, on January 10th, um, sorry, excuse me. On January 10th, that is when she was officially announced missing. So she was last seen January 4th, and on January 10th, that's when she was actually announced missing. On January 13th, Jalen, her cousin's car was spotted, and so of course it was obtained, and he was immediately brought in for questioning. On January 19th, he became a person of interest because they're like, okay, we know for a fact after testing your car, after listening to everyone's story, that you were indeed the last person that saw Zion. Well, he actually continued to lie. He lied to the police and said that he never ever saw Zion. So he was arrested on January 22nd. And on January 24th, he was arrested. He was charged with lying to authorities during an investigation. So basically, he was imposing an investigation. From January 24th to March 30th, it was basically he was arrested, but the family was still looking for Zion. But it was looking like the case was cold because there really was no evidence. There was no, like, a lot of missing stories we can say, like, oh, they did X, Y, and Z. None of this. She was really just a little teenage girl. She was expected to graduate. She really, there was nothing that people could track down. All evidence pointed to Jalen. But what could they prove besides we know for a fact that she was last seen with you? That was all that they could prove. So, March 30th, he was arraigned in court to be charged with lying to the investigators. And this is where we find out some alarming evidence about the case. I want to reiterate, this initially was just about him lying to the police, but we're going to hear what he had to say, and we're going to hear what the mom had to say about this case and what actually happened to Zion. I'm not going to spill it. I'm going to let you guys watch the court case for yourselves, and we're going to talk about it together because it was heartbreaking. I could barely get through this video watching it because it was so sad. It was so sad watching this mother cry like this, all at the hands of something that could have completely been avoided. Okay.
Accept the plea and we'll enter the plea.
All right, it's his desire, if we haven't accepted it, that we do accept it.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, you are Mr. Brazier?
I'm sorry.
You are Mr. Brazier?
Yes.
Mr. Brazier?
So who's on the screen is the public defense attorney and Jalen. Jalen is the cousin. So right now they're talking about accepting the plea of what he's being charged with. The formal charges is of him lying. I just want to keep reiterating that because it goes left. All this stuff comes out and now we're awaiting a whole new trial. Well, hopefully.
Brazier, you understand the maximum period of incarceration the court can impose for the lying with respect to the peace officer involving an investigation of a violent crime is 4 years. 2 years for the lying with a investigation to a peace officer. You understand that?
Yes.
And you reviewed the pre-sentence investigation report?
Yes.
It's factually accurate?
Yes.
Is it your desire to accept your previously tendered pleas?
Yes.
The record will reflect the court does in fact accept your pleas. Are you ready for sentencing today?
Yes.
Very well. Mr. Doty, what would you like to say on behalf of the client?
Your Honor, appearing before you is Mr. Brazier. He's 23 years old. He's engaged. He's the father of 2 children with 1 child on the way. He currently lives with he was at the time living with his spouse to be in Detroit in their home. She's had since to move out because of the nature of these charges. She's received death threats. They both received death threats before he had turned himself in, to the nature of they're going to kill his children. They're going to cut out the unborn baby from his daughter. There's been a lot of trauma that has been delivered to my client and his fiance at this time. So what we respectively request, Your Honor, that you would accept the recommendation of the probation department for the 150 days in Macomb County Jail credit for 66 days served and the 18 months probation. And my client would like to speak on his own behalf, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So stopping right there before Jalen starts to talk. As you guys heard, Jalen is 23 years old. He is a father of 2. He is expecting 1 more, and he is allegedly engaged. Cannot confirm this, whatever. They are now saying that because he's been in jail for 66 days since January 24th, that they are saying that, basically they're asking for him to get probation. The fact that they asked for this before Jalen starts talking is ridiculous to me. But I wanted to point out this so you guys can listen to what he's about to say after they just asked for probation for this man.
Thank you, counsel. It is the obligation of this court in imposing sentence to consider punishment, rehabilitation, the need to protect society, as well as deterrent similar offenses, and individualized sentencing. Mr. Brazier, what would you like to tell this court?
1, I did turn myself in. Yes, I lied, but I was not in the right state of mind. There was no way for me to prepare for a situation like that. I was scared.
I'm not totally clear on the situation. and the report is rather sketchy with respect to the situation.
And I will fill Your Honor in on some of those details.
Appreciate it. But what the report suggests is that you had contact with the individual. The police questioned you regarding that contact. You didn't tell them the truth associated with the contact. Then you, once confronted with information that you were not telling the truth, came forward and told them that you disposed of the body. I mean, that's all. That leaves a whole lot out there that's unaccounted for from the court's perspective. But what circumstances are you talking about?
Well, when she died.
So I'm going to pause it right here. So as you guys just heard, the judge, Jalen, goes straight in like, I am innocent. I was at loss for my mind. And the judge quickly tells him, I don't know what you're talking about, because basically what we're here for is for you lying to the police. But then you hear the bomb. The judge tells Jalen, did you or did you not admit to disposing of a body? To our recognition, we did not even know that there was a body. We have been looking for Zion. Zion has been missing. So what body did you dispose of? We were all like, what? Huh? What? She's missing. You said you did not see her. You said that you were never with her. And now you're in court to be charged with lying to the police. And you have the nerve to ask for probation. But then the judge says that you admitted to disposing of a body. So this is what he's about to say about what took place on January 4th, which was the last day that Zion Foster was last seen.
It was just random. Like from my end of it.
What do you mean?
I was terrified. Literally from that point on, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't in the right state of mind for anything. And I turned myself and they didn't present me with anything. After getting my thoughts together.
So did you explain how she passed?
I don't know exactly how she passed, what caused her to pass. I just know 1 minute she was cool, she was fine, she laid back for a minute. Next thing I know, she was dead. I don't know what caused it. I did not cause it or anything like that. I reacted stupidly off of fear and panic like I've never felt before in my life. Literally.
Well, I mean, people are sitting around and somebody just passes. I mean, did you think about calling 911 or something like that?
No, not at the time. We were smoking. We were on marijuana as well. So my mental state wasn't in any like logical spectrum. I was just immediately just terrified. Like that's the only words I can use to describe the moment.
Are you telling me that you're stoned, she's stoned, you think she dies, and then you dispose of the body? Just like that? That was your choice?
I sat for a minute and I didn't know what to do. I was like, I just did not know what to do. It's like,
I mean, the first thing that came to your mind, I'm trying to understand with the limited information I have, that this person passed away in your presence. And your first thought is, well, I got to get rid of the body.
My first thought was how bad it looked to start with. It's like, how do I explain like what happened? I don't know why she died or what it caused her to die. And just a lot of.
So I forgot to mention before I started this video, in February, the mom did come out and say that Jalen told her that he threw her in a dumpster, that he threw Zion in a dumpster. But there was no evidence, like there was nothing that was brought back to the public, shall I say, to support these claims. So the mom has still been holding out hope. Like what dumpster? Like we can't even properly give her a homegoing service. I can't even really say goodbye to my baby because you told me that you put her in a dumpster. This whole time, he's only been charged with lying to the police. So his charges have not been changed, up until this point. So right now, what you guys see is the judge is really just trying to figure out, well, what happened? Because we still really don't know why you would do this. And what he's saying was that she just fell to her death. Like she just laid back and passed away. And he just panicked in a freak panic. He didn't know what else to do but to get rid of her. Like she was some type of doll or, no regard to life. This is, mind you, let me remind you guys that this is his cousin. The cousin that she referred to him as her favorite cousin. And also, to bring this home, he has 3 children. This man is a father himself. And instead of thinking about how he would feel if someone did this to his babies, he wants to say that he just lost his mind and freaked out and just did something, without thinking, when it's unacceptable.
Possibility just popped in my head, and I was just reacting off of just innate fear. Just, I don't know. Literally, I don't do anything. I just didn't know what to do. I literally did not know what to do. I sat for at least 10 minutes sitting there. Like, what do I do? Who do I call? My kids are upstairs. We just got into this place after struggling for like 2 years to get it, and everything is falling down.
He says, who do I call? The police, 911, so she can be saved. You wouldn't have been in trouble. You wouldn't have been in trouble, because if she would have been saved, she could have told them, you did nothing wrong. This is what happened. And whatever charges you got, damn sure would have been lesser than this. But yes, he just admitted that his kids was upstairs. He didn't know who to call or what to do. If his kids just passed out, let's just take this away. If his kids was to just pass out and fall down to the ground, would he put his kids in the dumpster? That is the $1,000,000 question. When I watched this, that's all I could think. If your baby, you just said your babies were upstairs, if they just laid back and stopped breathing, you would just put them in a dumpster? If not, why would you do this to this beautiful 17-year-old girl, your own family? The story's not making sense.
I won't have any conversation in this court.
And I wish I could take it back. I would have called the ambulance, called her mom, because her mom is so sweet. Her mom is so sweet. I just knew. I wish I could take it back. Nobody been in the situation. At the very least, they'd be like, okay, this happened, confirm this. And everybody has some sort of peace right now, But I just didn't know what to do. It's not something, like I said, in life, you try to mentally prep for a lot of situations. But when one that you just would never have even thought to happen just happens, and you're like, wow, immediately the first thing comes to your mind is everything about to lose, how it's about to affect your kids, your life in general. And then after that, how it's flipped when whoever, it's like play telephone and change many times. Facebook, everything, just a lie hitting me at once. So
It's the fact that he really just said everything just came to him at once. I'm going to lose everything. How? If this is an accident. People do randomly pass from of natural causes, strokes, heart attacks, things of that sort, blood clots, aneurysms. I mean, I can keep going. Things like this happen. So how did you automatically equate to this girl just stop breathing as you getting in trouble if you did nothing wrong? And then on top of that, he just said something about Facebook, the story, the telephone. You didn't think of that in the first 10 minutes. You did not. It makes no sense. It makes not one sense. You really, it's the fake tears for me, you guys, as well. Like, I cannot say what really went down, but I can definitely say from watching this and hearing this, it's like, it does not make sense. If it's an accident, if something just happened randomly, you would not be in trouble. You would not be thinking the worst. You're thinking the worst because you did something. I've been trying to think of that saying that our parents would used to say when we were children, and we would kind of like tell on ourselves and, all that bad stuff happened to you because you did something bad. Like, you wouldn't be thinking this bad thoughts if you did not do something bad. We don't know what he did to this young girl, but why would you be thinking that you're going to lose your livelihood and your life over this if this was an accident and you could say it was an accident? Accidents happen. And you said that her mom was a sweet woman, and we're going to hear from her mom. And from the video, I can definitely say she just wanted answers. If an accident happened, why wouldn't you give her that? Yes, only got 4 years. But I hope that he is being charged with, Zion Foster, the M word, the murder. I hope. But I'm not sure. So we'll keep watching.
I had to just take time and try to get my thoughts together because I was on panic mode ever since that happened. Her mom at one point talked to me and I couldn't bring myself, like, your daughter just died. What do I do? And I can't even explain it. What happened? I just can tell you my honest reaction.
Anything further?
On my client's behalf, Your Honor, I can say this: every interaction I've had with him, whether it's over the phone, via Zoom, or personal jail visits, it's the same reaction. You wish you could take it all back. And we know that's not possible, but if there's one person that might deserve to take it back, he does, because he's shown nothing but regret, sorrow, and just the utter confusion on his own actions. He expressed to me on multiple occasions, I can't believe I did what I did. I still can't believe it because I'm not that person. And I don't believe a lot of my clients because they're always just trying to get over, trying to decrease their time in jail or prison or whatever it might be. This gentleman's not one of those persons.
Very well, Mr. Prosecutor.
Thank you, Judge. And, Sarah Milton, Zion Foster's mother, would like to speak. I don't know if Your Honor wants to hear from me before or after she speaks.
They should speak first.
Why don't you guys step over here?
Like, literally. And I feel like, I usually try to be, just lay out the facts, and sometimes my emotions get the best of me. But this one, I felt nothing when he was crying but rage, because it's like, what the fuck? And I'm so sorry for my language. Please excuse my language, but what? And then the lawyer talking about, every time I talk to him, most of my clients lie. Y'all are skipping over the fact that this grown man has 3 children and a fiance, and is trying to tell us that he just panicked and put someone in the dumpster. He had a whole drive. He had to lift her up. Like, these type of things. Where did the thought of the good person in you come from to call the police? I just don't understand. What was your problem with calling the police if she just stopped breathing? And how do you know that she really stopped breathing? So I'm not sure. I don't think it showed it in this video, but basically what the alleged story was, they both had marijuana. They both had their own bags of marijuana. They mixed their marijuana and they both were smoking. And he wants us to believe that after she and him stopped smoking, that she was the only one that had an illness or something happened. But he's saying that it was based off of the marijuana. It makes no sense. I've never heard of someone overdosing off of marijuana or having any issues. But we do know in this climate, there are a lot of drugs that are being laced. I know someone said fentanyl. That is very true. But with that being said, call the police. She's 17 years old. She was your family. So we're going to hear from the mom. I'm just going to tell you guys to brace yourself. It's very, very hard. If you have a heart, this is going to be hard to listen to.
Here you go. Just face the
Yeah. Can I have you state your name?
Sierra Milton.
Milton, what would you like to tell me today?
Zion. She just turned 17 in November. She shares her location with me everywhere she goes. She asks if she can go wherever I would allow her to go. There are yeses and there are nos. Because as a parent, you want to protect your babies. I have 6 kids. Zion is my oldest. All of my children look up to her. We were supposed to be planning her prom, her dress and colors. I'm still getting emails from the school right now for graduation pictures and just graduation. And now we can't do any of that because she asked me if she could go with Jalen. And I said yes, because I trust him. And I thought he would be responsible. But the fact is that it seems to me like he was hiding. He didn't pull up in my driveway. He pulled up in my neighbor's driveway. And he's pulled up in my driveway before. We've given each other a hug. I've spoken to him. He came that night and he picked my baby up by pulling into my neighbor's driveway and then parking in the front of my other neighbor's driveway. He called me. I didn't call him. He called me on the 5th when my baby didn't come home. He called me to say, I don't know why Zion would lie and put me into this. I haven't seen her in years. I haven't seen her in months. And I'm like, what? It wasn't too long ago that I saw you. And even knowing that my baby has been in contact with him, I kept going to his house. I just wanted him to tell me the truth. I stayed up for nights, for days, panicking and being so fearful. God, please don't let my baby be dead. Please, God, don't let my baby be just thrown away like she's nothing. These are the things that I prayed. I was fasting, my children not getting sleep, not eating, can't go to work. I'm a single parent. Everything that I do is for my children. Every ounce of money and time or whatever and energy is for them. It's to make sure that they're good. It's to make sure that they're surrounded by people that love them and protect them. And so, yes, Zion, you can go with your cousin who you have in your phone as Favo because he's your favorite on that side of the family. And to say, you panicked. Then why didn't you think about my baby? What if you were so high you didn't know she was alive and you just threw her in a dumpster in the cold without a coat?
And what she just said was, or, what I think all of us was thinking, how, when you're high, and I'm not sure if everybody has smoked marijuana before, but, you get super paranoid, you get hyper paranoid. What if you really did not know if she was breathing or not? What if you really was just that high that you were hallucinating? Because that is a very strong case. Like, it could actually happen that he got so paranoid that he doesn't even know for real if she was not breathing. But like she said, when he picked her up, he usually pulls into their driveway and, parks out front or speaks. This time he parked in the neighbors. So she says she feels like he was hiding from the jump. But then on the 5th, he knew that Zion's mother was looking for her. She never called Jalen, though. She was only strictly calling Zion because Zion told her that she was going to be on her way. He calls her and says, I don't know why Zion got me in this mess. Well, what's the mess? I'm just looking for her. I never seen her. I haven't seen her in months, in almost a year, going on years. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, she's honestly confused. She just wants her baby. It makes no sense.
And if that's the case, that means that my baby was crushed in the process of how trash is taken and picked up and placed in a landfill where she will never be found. I will never know. I will never know. I won't get to see my baby again. And as far as the many times that I went to his house during the search, Your Honor, he helped me post flyers of my baby in his neighborhood, on the corner of his house, the street that he lives. He told me, along with his mother, I would not lie to you. I know this has got to be really fearful for you. But I'm telling you, I have not seen her. I have not been around her. His mother said, my baby wouldn't lie to me. And so now everybody is suffering. My children are suffering. And they have to grow up knowing that their cousin did something this awful, and that their big sister isn't there anymore. And we have so many events and so many life changes that are happening now. My son came to his house and he didn't recognize him, but my son was so angry and he just knocked at the door and was like, is Zion here? Is Zion here? You could have came and said something. You could have called 911. You could have called your mom. You could have called relatives that are all around. Somebody could have helped. Somebody could have known something. But it seems like more than just a panic. It seems like you did something or you gave something. Because why, if you love her, if she says that she loves you, and she always does, and you say that you love her, then why? How is it that someone that can love someone could just dispose of them in trash like she's nothing? And then come with me and post flyers and reach out to me and tell me, I don't know. I know you're looking for Zion, but I don't know. I haven't seen her. I haven't spoke to her, and I don't know why she would use me. Why lie? This is something that can't be repaired. She cannot be replaced. This cannot be rectified. And we will never have closure. And as much as I love you guys, as much as I love that family, you have caused such distinction that it's hard to trust family at all. And now my babies are even more isolated. Because how can I trust family when family is one who did this? I will never forgive you, Jalen. And it may not matter, but I hope that your children grow up without you so that they can be better.
Thank you.
Like, as you guys heard, oh my God, it's so hard to listen to that. But as you guys heard, it was people crying in the courtroom as she was speaking. And it's like, she basically said, like, I can't even have my children around family because I have no one to trust. No one. And she said, she would never forgive Jalen for what he did. but she doesn't have closure because the story does not make sense. She has not been able to see her baby. She's in a landfill, and they said that she's allegedly like 200 feet below, based off of their calculations of how much trash they dump in this landfill. So basically what happened was of course, he told them which dumpster he put her in, and they were able to track down where that dumpster goes, like where that trash that belongs to that dumpster goes. And that particular landfill still has not found Zion's body. That's one. But two, based off of how much trash they dumped throughout that course of time, from January 4th to February, at that time, it was like 200 feet. She was below. We are now in March or April, and she still has not been found. Like, I know a lot of people are saying that maybe this was something, where he took advantage of her, sex SA. We are not sure. He will not say. He is sticking to this freak of nature story. But of course, like the mom just told you guys, he has already been known to lie. He literally was putting up flyers. Him and his mother were saying that he's being honest, and the whole time he lied. He knew that Zion, he had already disposed of her body, and will still have the audacity to be putting up flyers. One second, guys. So after the trial, or after this court case, he was sentenced to 4 years, and he was charged with lying to the police. I do not know if he is going to be charged with, murder. I am not sure what is to come with this Jalen. His name is Jalen Brazier. Let me see if they're going to pursue charges. Yeah, he got charged with 4 years for lying to the police. But as you guys heard, I'm not sure if you guys had came in and missed it. When his lawyer was speaking, they had the audacity to ask for probation. So if this man was so guilt-ridden, he was so sorry for what he did not mean to do it, how dare you guys even fix your lips to say probation? The statute for these charges, they don't go past 4 years. So he got the maximum, but 4 years for what he did, 4 years for robbing this girl of her life and her mother, of being able to see her off to prom, see her graduate. This little girl had younger siblings that looked up to her. Her little brother went and asked Jalen, "Where is my sister? What did you do with her?" So that just shows you guys how much she was loved. This man really had the family thinking that she was sex trafficked. Like, that was like one of the stories that went with this, because no one knew where she went. It was like she just disappeared. She just disappeared. And the whole time you knew that you disposed of her like she was nothing. It's just heartbreaking. It is very, very heartbreaking. But like the mother says, it makes you think about, like, you can't trust anybody these days. Let me get into these comments. Who was at the house other than the kids? Allegedly, I believe maybe his mother, but I'm not sure. He never said. He only publicly said the kids. So I'm not sure if it was her, him, and just the kids, but it had to be someone else there, because for him to dispose of the body, did you take your kids with you? It just does not make sense. There's so many questions surrounding this. I can play what the prosecutor said. It's in the same video, so you guys can hear what the prosecution had to say. Let me pull it up, because he hit some points. He's not here for the bullshit. There was no proof that she was dead before he disposed of her body. Therefore, he needs to be charged with murder. That's what I'm saying. And on top of it, your story just doesn't make sense. I'm not sure how they only got this one lying to the police story to stick, or charge to stick. What are y'all doing? Because I'm not, no, something's not making sense. So let me let me share my screen and show you guys what the prosecution said, because the prosecution, they were hitting some good points, but the judge kind of threw me for a loop, because the judge was like, what are you saying here? And I get it, judges have to stick to the facts, but I want y'all to hear what they said.
Ultimately, of course, we learned it's Jalen Brazier to smoke marijuana, as he indicates later. 15 days later, when he speaks to police, 14 days. It wasn't his panic that night, of course, that started this, but it's the 14 days after he pays for it now before the court. January 5th, you've heard the statements he's making to Sierra. January 7th, there are text messages. And at this point, Sierra has gone public with her daughter missing. And she's suffering through scams. She goes to the city of Detroit on the 8th to pay somebody money because her daughter is allegedly being sex trafficked in a home. She's going to gas stations. People are taking advantage of her, not because of defendant's panic, but because of what he chose to do every minute, every hour, and every day after January 4th. January 10th, police confront him. He says, I haven't seen her. I haven't been to East Point in a year. January 14th, police confront him again with phone records. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her since May. Police confront him again. He says he'll come in for a polygraph. Of course, he doesn't show. On the 18th, finally, they confront him. He says he'll turn himself in. And on the 19th, he does so with his lawyer, not Mr. Doty, another counsel. And he tells police, ultimately, although lying during the course of the interview, he eventually confesses that he did, in fact, see Zion that night, picked her up, brought her home. They combined their marijuana together, and they both smoked it. And somehow, when he came back to the room, she was unconscious. Now, he didn't just claim to be affected in any way, but purported that it was an overdose. Said she was breathing faintly, and that's important for the court. He tells police, the only one with knowledge of the facts, his version, if you believe a marijuana overdose, is that she was breathing faintly and he panicked. He didn't check on whether she was still breathing when he put her in the trunk of his car. He didn't check whether she was still breathing when he drove her to a dumpster.
The counsel.
Yeah.
My concern here is what you're suggesting is that this was murder. That's what you're suggesting, is that this was murder, not the disposal of a body. And that's the prosecution's consideration.
Your Honor, you're correct.
And you're putting facts in here that are not before this court, and this court is not prepared to sentence on murder today because that's not before me.
Correct in one way, Your Honor. Homicide is not the charged offense, correct? Lying to police absolutely is, right?
But that is distinct and different from the additional facts you're providing the court as to consideration that she was breathing when he disposed of the body.
And that will go to one of the offense variables that I'm going to ask Your Honor.
All right, well, let's get to the offense variable.
So ultimately, he tells police where that dumpster is. Police take time to locate what company hauls from that dumpster, where the dumpster is dumped, what dump and landfill it goes to. And now 14 or more days after the incident, 15 days of lies and more, they find out that her body is, unfortunately, 75 to 100 feet or more below the surface. And the reason all of these facts are important, Judge, and they are before you, and I can present every police report, Your Honor, I can mark it as an exhibit if you prefer, is two things. Offense variables, of course, and the guidelines are suggested in nature now. They're not mandatory. Offense variable 5 has not been accounted for in this public order offense. Offense variable 5 is the psychological injury to family members. You've heard from Sierra about how devastating.
So to clarify, the judge basically told him, like, I'm not able to charge him with homicide. Like, that's not what I'm able to do. But what the prosecution is trying to do is up the charges, like, because basically he What he just said was it was psychological injury of a family member. So that was what he's trying to get him also charged with. But you'll see. The judge is like, no.
This is said not only to her, but other family members. Offense variable 8 is the transport or placement of a victim into a place of greater danger. A woman who's faintly breathing, thrown into a trunk of a car, buried beneath garbage, certainly is placed in a location of greater danger. Those are factors not considered within the public order guideline range, but they are to be considered by Your Honor when you make this decision, Judge. At the time I authorized these charges, I was aware, and as he sits before you today, you're aware these may be the only consequences he faces for the torture, the pain, and the suffering this family has to go through when they want to visit their daughter's resting place and they have to go to a landfill.
Counsel, my concern is that I'm not sure I have the appropriate offense here based on what you're saying, and that she was alive and put in a position that she ended up deceased. Murder should be the charge.
And that's a decision that Wayne County Prosecutor's
But that's
Office
not,
needs to make, Your Honor.
but that is not a decision for this court because it has not been charged.
Correct.
And so I can't go into these guidelines and say murder is an issue here because it is not before me. And you know that as well as I know that. And this would come back tomorrow. Should I even consider that? It will not be considered by this court.
Understood, Your Honor. Your Honor is permitted.
What is here is absolutely perverted. I cannot believe what this family has been through. That is before this court. To suggest that somebody, what a sick society we live in, would further complicate and injure the mother of this child by suggesting that the child was subjected to other things in an attempt to procure finances from this person. It's perverted, absolutely perverted, but he's not responsible for that. And how our society goes on with that type of behavior, I am so sorry for what you've been put through. It is incredible.
You're right, Judge. It's disgusting.
I can't change those things. You understand? Those things are not before me. Now, let's get to the guidelines, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. And what is before you, I believe the guidelines for what can be accounted are accurately scored. I believe counsel for defense said the same.
So they're accurately scored as they're before me.
Correct. Offense variable 5 and 8 are not available.
Okay, well, I can't do that.
But in order to exceed guidelines, Your Honor is able to consider facts that are not accounted for in the sentencing guidelines, which is why I present this to you. I'm asking Your Honor to hold the defendant accountable.
My fingers and I do this to make a living. We're too busy to.
For his panic, but for what he did every day thereafter, for the lies he told, and for the suffering this family is going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives.
All right,
Your
thank
Honor,
you, counsel.
32 months to 48 months in the
Thank you,
Michigan
counsel.
Department of Corrections.
It is the obligation of this court in imposing sentence to consider punishment, rehabilitation, the need to protect society, as well as deterrent similar offenses and individualized sentencing. What happened there, I have no idea. None. The demise of this poor young lady is information that I never will possess. Nobody will possess. Quite frankly, is unique to your memory, which you did not share, which you intentionally then put this family through unnecessary trauma, despair, heartache for no reason. By your own admission to this court today, I knew what happened to her, and I chose to conceal it, to perpetuate the false statement on this family, while they participated with the falsehood that you created, that she was out there somewhere. That's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I cannot do anything to remedy what occurred. I am so sorry for what has happened to you. But you need to be punished. As I indicate before each sentencing, it is the obligation of this court in imposing sentence to consider punishment, rehabilitation, the need to protect society, and deterrence from civil offenses. Your failure to be honest and truthful in preventing, I don't know, maybe preventing certainly further pain and suffering from the family, requires punishment. Probation, you've recommended that he be afforded probation. That's not appropriate here. He's going to prison today. And the prison sentence here hardly reflects the injury that you've accomplished. The guidelines are appropriate, however, under these circumstances, and the court will stay within the guidelines. And I am only considering the facts that are known and presented to this court and are not in dispute. Other matters that have been brought to this court's attention for which there is no basis and would require a hearing are not considered by this court. Therefore, it is a sentence of this court that Mr. Brazier, you be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for a period of 23 months to 4 years on count 1, and on count 2, what's his credit?
66.
On count 2, 66 days. On credit for 66 days. He's got a total of $136 state court cost, $130 crime victim right assessment, $250 circuit court cost. And Mr. Doty, your attorney fee is
$925.
$975. You're entitled to appellate review of your conviction sentence in this matter by way of application for leave to appeal if you're financially unable to.
So there you guys have it. That was the case, or the trial, the court session in its entirety. And like you guys said, the judge is correct. And I think, like, for us, the $1 million question is, why didn't they up his charge? Because unless they're going to go back and do it, I'm not sure. I've been looking, there has not been any update on what is next to come besides him just being formally sentenced. So he's going to get anywhere between 23 and 4 years, but I believe he's going to get the maximum 4 years because the judge was absolutely disgusted. But I just did not understand why they did not take the time. As you guys heard, the prosecutor was saying all the evidence that they have. Why y'all didn't take the time to up the charge? If y'all know that is manslaughter, whatever y'all was going to charge him with, why didn't y'all? Or are y'all going to do it? So I think that is the $1 million question. But I really wanted to talk about this case because it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. Like, I knew that the mom had said back in February that Jalen told her that. But I also knew that people were trying to put allegations of sex trafficking, all this stuff on this young woman. So I did not know, like, what to believe, what not. And I just wanted to watch it play out to see what happened. But when it was actually confirmed out his mouth and how he tried to cover it up and say he's not this monster, he's innocent, I was just floored. And favorite girl, you said they need a body, I guess. There have been a lot of murder trials that have been charged without a body, but it is hard for them to get that indictment. I will say that it's very hard. And it depends on the state. It depends on, who you have, how much evidence you have, because they'll throw it out, based off of the evidence. If they feel like they can't really take this to trial, they will have no choice. So I'm not sure if that's what happened here and they had to go with what stuck, which was him lying. I'm not sure. Those are like the questions that I am looking for. And if I find them, I will circle back to this and give you guys an update. Tiffany, I'm not sure where that allegation came from initially, like how they thought to come up with this, but how it got out there into public, into the media, was because the mom has said, like, I'm getting text messages, I'm getting calls. People are saying that they seen Zion here, there, she's locked away, I have to pay some money. So she is the one that actually said that this was going on. And of course, people repeated it because we were like, oh my God, this is serious. And at the time that Zion went missing, there was another young girl. She was a 17-year-old as well. I forgot her name. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to get it. I think it was I think the last name was Fetus. Her last name was Fetus, but she was found dead on the side of the highway. And they also feared that she was sex trafficked. So during that time, it was just like, a lot of people was scared, and, it seemed to be like this could be believable, but they were really playing with this mom's feelings and really manipulated and took advantage of her. And those people will have to see, see Judgment Day as well, because there's no way in hell you get away with shit like that. Whatever happens to you in your life, no one's going to wish you well. But, that was something that a lot of people thought, that I think her last name was Theus, not Fetus. Theus. What was her name? I forgot her name, but I hate when I do that. I'm not going to just leave it at that. I have to figure out her name. Yeah, this was in Los Angeles, and she was 16, not 17. Tiani Theus, yes. So she was found dead on the side of the highway, and they was also saying that they felt like this was sex trafficking. So this was all going on around the same time. She was found dead January 8th. Like I told you guys, Zion Foster was announced missing officially January 10th. So these, we have two Black girls. We're in this era of, we got to bring our Black girls home, our Black girls and Black boys. We really try to be the voice. So I think they really played on her fear. And she, of course, being a mom, was like, I'm going to pay whatever to get my daughter back. But as you guys see, that was not a true story. But can we say that we believe that she was really put in a dumpster? Some people don't believe that. There was some comment over here like, he's a known liar, so she could be elsewhere. And I agree, she could be anywhere. But the sad reality is, this could have been avoided had he called the police, if she really did just fall unconscious. But the reason why our thoughts are going elsewhere is because, one, the climate that we're in, SA charges are real. People are monsters. Whatever he did, maybe he did drug her. Who knows? Whatever he did, it was not a freak accident, because he didn't move in a manner of it was an accident. So that is it for you guys today. If you guys are watching the replay, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe on your way out. I will see you guys with another video on another day. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. You guys have a good day.
And thank you. Oh yeah, thank you, Ms. Marcel. Yo, all props to you. And just be you doing what you doing. And you got a voice.